Hey there, welcome to a new series we're going to be doing here at the Hidden World. This one will be going decade by decade, choosing our favourite year of cinema for each decade. We're going to be starting with the 2000 to 2009 period, some people call it the noughties, and making our way back decade by decade. A lot of the decades had a lot of contenders. As far as the noughties go, there's a lot of years with some really great films, but there was one clear-cut winner, and that was 2007, a marvellous year for cinema. What we're looking for when we are looking at these years is not just the year that might have your favourite film of the decade or a couple of masterpieces, but films certainly. A year that certainly contains films like that, but a film that has a wide breadth of really great films. And 2007 is that year for the noughties. For a start, we will talk about Zodiac, which is David Fincher's masterpiece. A great crime procedural, as well as a wonderful examination of obsession, and criminally overlooked at the awards season. Masterful performances, masterfully made, a real gem of a film, and the director's cut, which is slightly longer, is here on Blu-ray. It's a wonderful Blu-ray, has a lot of great special features, including interviews with real police officers and survivors of the Zodiac killings. Great commentaries also. Just a marvellous package of a great film based on a book of the main character in the film, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Also stars Chloe Sevigny and Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo is excellent as always. So, masterful film. Another masterpiece that came out that year is Paul Thomas Anderson's best film, There Will Be Blood. Just a real gem of a movie. He's kind of channeling Kubrick a little bit when he made this one, not unlike how he channeled Scorsese for Boogie Nights, and more recently Altman for Inherent Vice. But he also brings his own savoir-faire to the proceedings, and Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano are just on top form in this film. When I watch over again, this one should have won the Oscar. You know, the Oscars don't really mean anything, they always get it wrong, and it's all politics, but if all was fair, out of who was nominated, There Will Be Blood should have come out on top. Another film that was largely overlooked, it got a few nods, was Into the Wild. Sean Penn is an underrated director. Films like The Crossing Guard and The Pledge, and this one here is his best film to date that he has directed, based on true events. Beautifully shot, and great acting from Emile Hirsch in the lead role. I believe this did pick up the supporting Oscar for Hal Holbrook. I know he was nominated, I'm pretty sure he won that as well, but this film is quite wondrous. Another great film that came out this year that did get some nominations that I used to have on DVD, but I've sold it because of the DVD, and is not their best transfer, and the Blu-ray I believe is even worse as far as the artificial sharpening goes. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, from the director, New Zealand-born director Andrew Dominic, who was first came to people's attention with Chopper, his follow-up film Assassination of Jesse James. It's very slow, but very stunning. Every frame looks like a portrait. His time doing second camera work for Terrence Malick on The New World was not wasted. He created a very beautiful looking film, and with some amazing performances by Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck and others. If they do bring out a better Blu-ray, I'll be the first to put my hand up and say yes please. Another film that came out that year was a debut from Anton Corbijn, which was the life story of Joy Division, more poignantly of their lead singer Ian Curtis, based on the memoirs by his wife Deborah Curtis, shot in beautiful black and white. Adam Corbin was a photographer. He had done a lot of photography for Joy Division back in the day, and he has a real eye for film. After this, of course, he went on to do The American, which is quite wonderful, and more recently, The Most Wanted Man. But this is great performances, beautifully made, really top-notch film. One of my favourites, Wong Kar-wai, also brought out a film that year, and it was his first English-speaking film, and his only English-speaking film, My Blueberry Nights. I think some of the Wong Kar-wai purists got their panties in a bunch because he was making an American film with well-known American and English actors, such as Jude Law and Natalie Portman, and also newcomer acting singer Norah Jones. But it's really quite wonderful, and it sits quite well alongside his best films. It's a little bit in behind his masterpieces like In the Mood for Love and Chungking Express and 2046, but it's quite a wonderful movie I can watch many times. That year was also a year for another Pixar classic from their golden era, Ratatouille, wonderfully entertaining, well put together original film from the people at Pixar. They're really on a roll at this stage, and this is one of many great films they did from the late 90s through the noughties. I recommend Ratatouille. Also that year we got the second in the trilogy from Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Of course, they did Shaun of the Dead first, and more recently they did The World's End. All three wonderful films. This one is their sort of takeoff on action films. Wonderfully entertaining, wonderfully made, great performances. Really good. I actually prefer this. I think this is my favourite of the trilogy. And the end of a trilogy, the Bourne Ultimatum, the three Bourne films with Matt Damon, kind of came to a climax with this film, although I hear Matt Damon will be making another Bourne film later this year. Great set pieces, intensely made, the best of the original trilogy in my opinion, and I'll be interested to see what they have next. I enjoyed the Jeremy Renner one. I don't know if they're going to make another one with Jeremy Renner, but I'll be interested to see with Paul Greengrass back in the helm and Matt Damon starring in a new Bourne film later this year. An underrated film from Frank Darabont, his third Stephen King adaptation. Of course, he'd done The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, which were both critically acclaimed hits. The Mist didn't do quite as well and didn't get quite as much press, but it's an excellent film, well handled. The dark ending. Thomas Jane is excellent in the lead, probably his best work, and this is the version that also includes the director's cut, which is exactly the same except for it's been formatted for black and white, which was what Frank Darabont originally wanted it released in, and the producer said no one wants to see a black and white film, which is untrue, and but you get to see it here, and it is much better in black and white, and the effects really blend in so well with the black and white, and a real treat. One of my favourite directors, William Friedkin, did a wonderful film here called Bug. I've got a video on this Blu-ray, which I'll put the link down in the description. Claustrophobic film based on a stage play, set based mostly in one motel room, and with Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd really doing some of their best work, and highly recommend. Now here's a film based on my rules of rating films for certain years, as you might have seen in my best of 2014 list. Here's a film that is listed as 2006 on IMDb, but it only had a couple of festival screenings in late 2006. Went on with some more festival screenings in early 2007 and was not given even a limited or wide release until April of 2007, so I'm counting it as a 2007 film. It's the wonderful This Is England from Shane Meadows. Masterful film, great characters, heartbreaking, realistic, and sort of one of the best English films in the last 20 years. and highly recommend it. Of course, Shea Meadows went on to do 2 mini-series based with these same actors playing the same characters. This is England 86 and 88, and currently is working on This is England 90, as these characters get older and move through the different times in England. But this is the movie that kicked it all off, and quite a special film. So 2007, as you can see there, there's other films that are great as well that I just don't have copies of. There's some other ones I do have copies of which I just enjoy, but I don't think they're particularly great films from that year, but good films. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my top 10 in order for the year of 2007, and we'll see you next time for our best year of film from the 90s.